Ellie here from the Dark Imp, helping parents reclaim family time by playing board games together. Now, I'm a great advocate of having board games out on show at home. I think it's a real waste to keep all your games in a cupboard where nobody can see them. And I don't mean have all of your games out all of the time, but having some games out and visible. There are really good reasons for doing this. Let's have a look at them. So firstly, if you have games out and in accessible places, quick and easy games, you're much more likely to play more with your family. You can grab some extra time that otherwise might have been dead time or time spent on a phone. If you've got a dice game in the kitchen when you're making a cup of tea, it's an easy 5-10 minute game. If you've got love letter out on the coffee table, and when you're waiting for a show on the TV or in between, in advert breaks, instead of going on your phone, then play a game with each other. You can have these puzzle games out, you can have these short games out, you can have other games out as well, but those quick games will help you to snatch that extra time with your family. Secondly, having games on show normalises game playing in your family. It's a little bit like having a lot of books out. If you have a book next to your bed, you're more likely to pick it up. If you have shelves of books, you're more likely to pick them up and have a look at them. If it would be weird to have all your books in a box or in a cupboard that nobody can see. You have them on show for a reason, because you're more likely to pick them up. The same is true of game playing. You are normalising its presence within the family. If you are a book reading family, I bet there are books everywhere and you wouldn't think about hiding them away. To be a game playing family, you need to have games all over the place so that it becomes a normal part of your family life. Thirdly, having games out increases your opportunity for collaboration with other members of the family. And here I guess I'm really talking about puzzles or cooperative games. So if you've got puzzles like Rush Hour is quite well known, where you have the little cars and you move them around, you're always trying to get the red car out. Have a look at that if you don't know what that is. Aroka is another sort of wooden puzzle game, and it comes with all sorts of different puzzles that you need to do. Gravity Maze is another, Flip Over is another. There's lots of these sort of solo games, puzzly things, that you can do with more than just yourself. So you do it with another member of the family and you're discussing things, and it gives you an opportunity to try out different people's ideas. It gives you something to do together, some puzzle to focus on together. Also, games tend to promote really interesting discussion. You have these games out and it'll remind you of the last time you played. It's the sort of cognitive equivalent of earworms, where you hear a tune and you can't get rid of it. Games are a bit like that with things that your brain keeps returning to. And those things your brain keeps returning to, those are the things you're going to talk about. So at dinner, if you have a game out on the side that you sometimes play, you will find that you talk about it even if you're not playing it. So it promotes interesting discussion about strategy, about tactics, about, you did that and I should have done that, and next time we play I'm going to do that. And you find that might lead on to a game as well. It also, having games out, provides an alternative to digital entertainment. We live in a world where it is so easy to entertain yourself. It is the easiest and quickest and most accessible thing to just pull out your phone, press a shortcut that you've got on your home screen, and it takes you straight into a game. 2 seconds, maybe it takes that long. And so we are competing with these very readily available distractions. So having board games out, you really have to compete with something that accessible and something that easy. So you've got no chance if you've got these things hidden away. They've got to be present in our minds. They've got to be out on display. And then there's a chance that they will compete with the digital environment that we've created for ourselves. Having puzzles and games out is a much better way of getting your brain working than some of the other passive, much more passive things that we tend to do to occupy ourselves. Sitting and watching the television or playing mindless games on your phone, that's not a great way of, getting your brain working. So having these puzzles and games on show, that's a much better way. You're much more likely to delve into those things and use your brain more frequently. Then, of course, we talked a lot about quick games that are easy to pick up, that are going to provide you distraction or have a better means of entertaining you than some of the other things. But of course, it's not just all about these quick and easy games. Take chess, for example, or maybe Go, or other very strategic games that really are quick to learn but take a lifetime to master. If you have those in the cupboard, you will not play them, or at least you won't play them as much. Having those things out, having chess set on the coffee table, for example, it will get you playing with it. It will get you thinking. You're going to have an opportunity to create a lot more practice. You're going to have a lot more practice at these games. You're going to develop strategies just by playing for 5-10 minutes in between other things that you wouldn't do if you had to have the thought, I want to play chess now, go to the cupboard, take out the chess set. So you're going to get better much quicker, and you're going to develop your strategic thinking, which will be very useful in all sorts of other things, not just game playing, but in all sorts of other things. And finally, having your board games out on show reinforces your brand as a board game family. This isn't just important for people who come to your family to know that, visitors to your family, to know that you play board games and that's what you do. It's important for your members of your family to know that that is something that is important to this family. Having time together, spending time playing together, different from other sorts of things. This is important to you as a family, and you're going to prioritise it because you've got games out. So reinforce your brand as a board game family. Lots of reasons to have board games out on show.